ending racial disparities all throughout the country. Black children, African American children are put out of school, suspended, given detention at 10 times the rate of all others. When we talk about education, we're talking about a learning environment. And so we've come to a point where it is normal for police to be in a learning environment. Now, 1 + 1 = 2, but where does a police and a teacher equal learning? In the county of Montgomery and in the state of Maryland, they have what they call behavioral threat assessments. Say it with me.
Behavioral threat assessment.
These teams composed of a teacher that probably doesn't look like me or my daughter, and an SRO. SRO stands for School Resource Officer. That's a trick. A school resource officer is a police. Can you say police?
Police.
Police?
Police.
A school resource officer is the police. They are trained as police. They are trained by the police to arrest criminals, not to teach students. So what you have is a volatile situation. How many of you saw Eric Garner being murdered by the police on YouTube, on television, on your phone? Well, all of the children in elementary, high school, middle school, they also saw that video too. But guess what happened when they went to school? They saw police when they walked in the door. Did that make them want to learn more? Did that improve their memory? Did that improve their study skills? Or did it cause more trauma?
More trauma.
So children are entering the doors seeing men and women with guns on their hips as they go to school. If a child talks out in class and he angers the teacher, or he gets into a scuffle, or he throws his book, did he say, I'm going to send you to the principal's office? Or did he say, I'm going to call the SRO on you? And what does that mean? You're in class, he say, I'm calling the police on you. That's what that means. And that's a reality in Montgomery County and throughout Maryland. An SRO is a police officer. Racial Justice Now has been doing this work for 9 years. We've called for police out of school for 9 years. Throughout the 50 states, there are police in schools all over the country. We've testified in the Department of Education for the United States. We've testified in Georgia, in Maryland, in Ohio, and many other places. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them. There's research done. All the governments like what they call best practices, right? There's no research anywhere that says police in schools make it safer. I'm going to say it again. There's no research anywhere that says police in schools make it safer. I'm going to tell you what I told the Washington Post. I'm 41 years young. I grew up under the hip hop generation. I'm going to tell you what I told the Washington Post. The police force started as slave catchers. How many of you knew that? Oh, you do now. How many of you knew that 3 months ago? A lot less hands, right? The police force started off as slave catchers. So poor whites, let's tell the whole truth, right? So poor whites that did not own slaves could not compete in a capitalist society.
Come on.
So that the rich slave owners didn't want the poor whites to overthrow them. So they gave them some crumbs from the table. And guess what the crumb was? My black ass. That's what it was. It was my grandmother. That's what it was. 1700s, 1785, my grandmother was born. She didn't take that Atlantic slave trade boat ride. We were born here. We'd like to tell you that all of us that are so-called black took that ride. Not all of us were here. Some of us were here already. Columbus came to America. He saw somebody look like me. He said, there's Indians here. I'm not an Indian. So we're dealing with real histories that the slave owners had a relationship with the poor whites where they would give them crumbs to kidnap, to murder, to rape, to rob, and enslave freed blacks. Now this happened all over the country. And guess what? It's happening again. How many of you heard the school to prison pipeline? Judges in Pennsylvania, Illinois, and other states have been arrested for getting kickbacks for sending juveniles to prison. Which juveniles did they send? The ones that look like me. So you're dealing with a system. These are different parts. Judges, teachers, police officers, resource officers, all working together to keep a specific group of people enslaved. I didn't say in jail, I said enslaved. So when you go to jail, they take all your rights. They say you can't vote. When you go to jail, you work for you go to work. You work for 13 cents a day. That's a reality for a specific group of people. And so when one of them gets murdered in cold blood on television, run over by a car, what does the president say? Those are very good people. Right? So this is the reality of the multi-layers that we're dealing with. Police in schools, elementary, middle school, high school, college. There is no research anywhere that says police in schools make schools more safe.
That's right.
Racial Justice Now, you can find more information about our organization at rjndmv.org. We are asking for police out of schools. You can call your elected officials at the school board to tell them that we don't need police in schools. We need more counselors.
That's right.
We need more health officials. We need more teachers. We need our children to learn and to grow and to be in a nurturing environment where they can develop themselves and be community members and help this community grow and develop. We don't need them in jail.
That's right.
We don't need them working for 13 cents a day. Thank you for your time.